Dr. Lakin.
Hey, how are you?
Hey.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
Good to see you.
happy Thursday.
Hello, Lenny. How are you today, sir?
Yeah. Well, he's doing fine, and he's here for his annual physical.
Oh, very good. Here, let me pull up a chair if you don't mind. Let me grab it. I'm going to join you guys.
Awesome.
Hello,
awesome.
Lenny. Hello.
Yeah.
Kathy.
And you know he's 18 this year, so
I could tell by various aspects of his physical condition.
Yes.
He's in fine shape, too,
yeah.
might I
Well,
say.
it looks pretty good. One of the things I wanted to tell you about was I talked to him about his 18th birthday, which is July 29th. And I asked him, Lenny, what do you want for your birthday? You know, you got kids, right? And so,
yes.
And so Lenny said he wanted one thing, and he wanted humans to shed negativity. So I said, well, why not? So why not put on a global shed challenge to challenge people all over the world to shed negativity for 24 hours and stop complaining? So he's
Very mature of him.
Yes, he's very mature. 18-year-old.
Most 18-year-olds don't want that.
I know.
It's very thoughtful.
I know. But he is a very amazing, wise doctor, too.
Oh.
Yes. So before you do an exam on Lenny and kind of give us how he's doing and anything he needs to do different, I'd just like to ask you from a physician's perspective. I mean, you're Lenny's doctor. You are one of the most amazing, positive doctors in the world. By so many of your patients say that over and over again.
Thank you.
And I'd like your perspective on why should humans be allergic to negativity?
Well, I think, I deal with patients who have health concerns. And so I think they come into this office often with worries and concerns. Most of them are over-exaggerated, to be honest with you. So I think what happens is a lot of us get in our own head. And a lot of that is more negative than we appreciate. And I think it's not healthy for us. But I think when patients come here, people come here, I talk to them and try and give them what I think is an honest assessment of how their health is, and most people are generally healthy. And in doing so, I give them an ability to see beyond their sort of limited, worried state to a larger, more objective perspective. And I think that perspective, when you think about things in a larger perspective, it tends to make you more positive. We tend to get very focused on the moment and the day.
Right.
And when we start to think that, things are better than they are, then we tend to make them in our mind, whether it's our health concerns or other concerns, we come back to a better place. Okay. And so it's important.
So what does negativity actually do to the body?
Negativity has actual physical effects. It can, certainly. I mean, it certainly affects mood. So it makes people down and depressed. Mm-hmm. Makes them sluggish and fatigued. Mm-hmm. Probably one of the most common things I see is people who have fatigue, and that comes from stress, which is a form of negativity.
Right.
It also has physical effects, I think, because people get adrenaline surges from negativity, and I think that has an effect on the body because that's a stress response, and that's not good for the heart, not good for the brain, not good for the digestion. I mean, we all know having digestive problems from too much stress, and that gets us bound up or the other way.
Right.
Doo-doos.
Right.
So I think that's just a variety of things. I mean, the number one most important organ in the brain or in the body is the brain because it has an effect on everything, and that's where negativity resides in the brain.
Wow. So you just create an amazing environment for people when they walk in the door that's positive. I think the best that I've ever seen in any physician's office. I mean, we're here in the Einstein room, right? You've got different rooms with different themes in them. You've got rubber chickens coming out of magazine holders. You've got big cutouts of John Wayne. I mean, talk to me about what you're doing before a patient even walks in so they're positive.
Yes. Well, look, I think every one of us has had an experience in a doctor's office. Most are going back to childhood that have a negativity to them. I mean, particularly getting the shots and the things we remember. Certain smells of the office are very evocative in our minds and give us a lot of negativity. And I want to change that, try and get rid of the odors of the office so it doesn't smell like the old-time offices, maybe some of the older people will remember. And then also give a sort of fresh perspective on what goes on in the exam rooms where people aren't seeing pictures of organs and organ systems and that are meant to educate.
Right.
We can educate when we talk, but I think we have to deal with the emotional aspects right up front and just sort of get people relaxed. And I think, whether it's art or ideas.
Mhm.
These are the things where we all connect. So I mean, there are several areas that I think we all have a common theme. One is heroes. So this is really a room of heroics.
Okay.
I mean, Einstein was a hero. Watson and Crick over here were heroes. So that's one motivator or
Okay.
one place where we can connect. Other people have different heroes.
Okay, so what would be another room and why you would?
Well, the other rooms would be, a lot of it is more popular culture. Like I have a room for Elvis, because I think everybody, you know, has a soft spot in their heart for Elvis.
Okay.
We have a John Wayne room, so more the Western theme and that kind of thing. And I think it just gets people, you know, it allows us to share ideas and talk about things. You know, the Einstein room, I've met people who met him and they would
Really?
remind them of a story that they
Wow.
would then share with me.
Sure,
Had
sure.
one lovely lady who was 90 years old and started telling me a story about meeting Einstein. Her daughter who was with her was like, "Mom, you never told me that story
Wow.
before." So it brings out a lot of different things, and
Sure.
it takes people away from the worry about their health,
Right.
towards other things, and I think that relaxes people, and then we can start a conversation.
Sure, sure, sure. I remember when I first came here years ago, and there was a Lucy room, and I was reading some of the funny things on the wall.
Lucy's,
Yeah, and then you came in, I was like, "No, come in yet, I'm not done yet," you know?
Well, there's a little bit of that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think-
that's so part of it
Yeah,
too.
people are, you know, they're waiting.
Right.
We understand that people unfortunately have to wait when they're in the office.
Right.
But I want to make their time productive. We do have, you know, Wi-Fi and things like that. People
Yeah.
are on their cell phones. But it's nice to, you know, if I see something that's entertaining or interesting to me
Mhm.
that I find at a store, I'm like, I'll put it in the office so that people can look at it. And I think it captures their interest and it gets them thinking about things, whether it's the larger perspective on things, and a cartoon that might indicate that,
Mhm.
or just something, like I said, that's sort of pop culture that makes you smile.
Yeah.
I think it's just good for us all to,
Yeah.
to keep a lighter attitude.
And it seems like people trust you very quickly. And how do you do that? Because that's often a challenge that I find with healthcare.
Well, I think, you know, certainly you have to have the skill set up front. So, I mean, I remember when I was a student and you don't have the skill set, your mind is active about the worry about what, you know, the mechanics of what's going to happen. And as you get more adept and more skilled, then all that is in the background. And then really it's just about a conversation. Really, all medicine is a series of stories. Patients tell me their story of their symptoms, and then I interpret it in a scientific way to try and reinterpret it and give them a different understanding of what that story is. And I forgot what we were
About trust.
Oh,
You were
about
just-
trust.
Yeah, how they build it.
Well, I
so
think that
quickly.
because we're in a conversation. I mean,
Right.
I'm not worried about the mechanics
Right.
of what I'm doing. I'm worried about the conversation that we're having, and I'm trying to be real with people and be genuine with them.
Wow.
I think that's important too.
Wow. Well, you all are giving out these "I'm allergic to negativity" bracelets
Yes.
To your
Got mine on.
patients, which is amazing because usually when you come to the doctor's office, they give you a chart and say, "What are your allergies?" And now you're handing them out to patients to tell them, you know, "You've got a new allergy now. You're allergic to negativity."
Well, we have, I mean, look, patients come in with different concerns and different attitudes. Some of them are negative when they come in. We try and make them feel better. And I've certainly had patients say to me, you know, you didn't fix me, but I feel better anyway.
Wow.
And so I do think that's important. And, you know, being hopeful, being positive, even in difficult situations, there's always something positive. I mean, we're here, we're alive, we're in the moment, and we're enjoying each other's interaction and company. And I just think that's, you know, something to be thankful for and just to recognize. And it's just an important thing to always remember to be grateful, you know, about what little things that are good in our lives. And everybody has something good going on.
Yeah. Well, I will say just how grateful I am to you personally, because I was here 8 years ago speaking, and I got sick, and Naomi Rohde said, "Well, you can go to my doctor, Doug Lakin." And so I came in here, and you ended up running some tests and calling me on the phone and saying that I was grounded. And I'm like, "I don't even live here." And they're like, you're grounded for the next 3 weeks, so cancel your speaking engagements. And so
Well, look, Kathy, I think for people like you who are driven, intense, and quite capable, they don't give themselves that moment to step aside and just nurture themselves and get them back to health. Sometimes I do have to be a little bit of a heavy. I don't do that very much. It's not my nature to be a heavy, but sometimes I want to say, "Look,
thank
all
you.
bets are off." Yeah, no, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It's the right thing to do, and I'm glad,
Yeah.
of course, you
Yeah.
continue to thrive because,
Yeah.
well, you got more energy than 10 people. So if you're sapped at all, boy.
Okay. I know
The
you were
energy's
calling me
good.
Miss Caffeine before, so anyway, so I don't have any. But so I am grateful I'm here. I'm grateful that you're my physician, and I'm grateful that you have agreed to be Lenny's
Yes, well,
physician.
Lenny, well, we're talking about his birthday, so it is time for a checkup.
Yes.
So it's his 18th birthday, so if you don't mind,
What?
you're welcome to stay here. I know he's undressed, but
Yeah.
that's okay. We can all be in a room together here.
Okay.
I want to examine Lenny, is that okay?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Lenny looks good.
Yeah.
He hasn't gained any.
No, hadn't gained any weight.
His weight looks good. I'm going to
Yeah.
place Lenny here and just check his pulse. Make sure, very, very strong.
Yeah.
And his blood is blue, which we know is the color of a lizard.
Wow.
Hello, Lenny. All right. He
Okay.
doesn't have any meningitis or anything like that.
Okay.
He's looking very healthy.
Okay.
What do you think, Lenny? Yeah, everything's good?
Yeah. Okay.
Now I'm going to listen to his heart.
How are you? Wow.
I am.
Okay.
Make sure he has one. I'm sure he does.
He has a huge heart.
Well, he does. I agree with you. Fortunately, not too huge. No heart failure. Perfect heart. Bounding pulses. Let me just check with his tummy. All right. He has a few flies in there, but I'm not sure. I feel,
And he loves crickets too.
oh, a cricket.
Cricket,
Okay, I feel a
yeah.
cricket or two around here.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Just check all of his skin, make sure he doesn't have any sun damage or anything like that. He's actually quite healthy. All
Yeah,
right.
he sheds regularly.
Oh, well, that's right.
Yes.
He does. Of course, that's how he keeps his skin so beautiful and supple.
Yes.
He's very moist. Perfect. Well, I got to be honest with you. Lenny is, once again, he's looking fabulous.
Thank you.
I mean, he looks marvelous.
Thank
I
you,
just,
thank you,
you
thank
take
you.
wonderful care of him.
Well, thank you. Just one more question, and that is, where in the world did you get a lizard
Yes,
shirt? I mean,
I did this in honor
is just like,
of Lenny.
wow.
As you can see the
Wow.
similarities.